Hi, today's lesson, I think this is page, I don't remember, maybe 13, maybe. So this should be in your packet. Sorry, I'm probably off a couple pages. At the top of my PDF it says 15, but I know there were a couple pages at the beginning that were not numbered because they were our syllabus. So I think 13. Anyway, we're going to be talking about some key words and phrases and then translating those to algebra. So some of you have learned a foreign language. For some of you, English had been a foreign language and you're still learning perhaps. And then for many of you, algebra feels like a foreign language. For some of you, not so much. It's you've been introduced to it, and it's almost a second language to you already. But we're going to go through some of this to help us be able to take certain keywords and also certain situations and translate those into expressions and then equations and inequalities. And then tomorrow we will actually look at applications of these things. So hopefully as many people can be here tomorrow because it's going to be a really important day and really help you get a strong foundation in doing application problems. So let's get started. So first, in class I usually try to get student participation, but I don't know that I probably shouldn't wait for you here. So let's start off with some keywords that tell us that we're adding. And we could come up with even more than the ones that I will list. The first one I'm going to list, though, is sum. And sum is the answer to an addition problem. So if I say the sum of two numbers, you know I'm adding them. All right. Total. The total bill was, we know we're probably adding things together, right? Increased by. And then there would be some number after the by. More than. Of course, something as simple as plus or add. And especially for addition, there are many. So you might come up with others. One thing about addition is it is commutative, which means we can change the order and it doesn't matter. Okay? So x plus 3, for example, or 3 plus x, they are the same, right? That's what I mean by commutative. Subtraction, so I'll make a little note up here. So for addition, there's usually going to be two good ways to write it because of commutative property. For subtraction, now let's see, well first let's start off with what is the answer to subtraction called? Well, the answer to subtraction is called the difference. So if I said, what is the difference between 7 and 4, that means 7 subtract 4, in that order. Less than, not is less than. We'll talk about a little difference there, but we had increased by, we'll have decreased by. We might see subtracted from. We'll talk a little more about subtracted from in a few minutes. Also less than. And we might just say minus. Right. Now, subtraction is not commutative. And what that means to us is that with subtraction, the order matters. The order matters for subtraction. So, for instance, let's just use numbers that we can see that because they're numbers. 7 minus 4, 4 minus 7. They are not the same. Okay? So, order matters in subtraction. And even if there's variables involved, the order still matters because the variable does represent an unknown number. So by the same token, this and this are also not equal. Kind of like the no smoking sign, right? Not equal. They're not the same. All right, so that's addition and subtraction. Again, these are not exhaustive lists. There are other numbers, other words. Obviously, lots of other numbers we could use. But there are other words that we could use. These are just some of the words. And that wasn't meant to be the sum of S-U-M, rather the S-O-M-E. So now let's look at multiplication and division. So for multiplication and division, remember multiplication, we may still see the x, but usually that's going to be reserved to use as a variable. So we're going to see that dot. And division, we might see a slash or the divide sign or a fraction. Oftentimes written as a fraction at this point. So for multiplication, some of our keywords that would tell me that I need to multiply would include, if I see the word product, because product is the answer to multiplication. Times, twice, which means 2 times. Double also means 2 times. And we may just say multiply. Again, you might think of others. Those are some that come to my mind right now. And then for division, the answer to division is called the quotient. Oh, I should back up and say that for multiplication, multiplication is also commutative. You know, think about it. 4 times 3 is equal to, put times up there at the top, 3 times 4. Those are times signs, not decimal points. So the order doesn't matter, but if one of them is a variable,